Enchanting, magical, a once-in-a-lifetime experience with exceptional luxury and service that makes you feel right at home, even though you are in its grand splendor located in Ireland. I can only be talking about one place, and that is Ashford Castle. Another way they make their guests feel right at home is with their impeccable cuisine that they serve. And I'm excited to bring to you a traditional Irish stew cooking demonstration with a recipe from the executive chef at Ashford Castle. Welcome to Travel Connections Live and La Fela Padra Sonadich, which is Happy St. Patrick's Day, as close as I can get it anyway, from Travel Connections Live, the show that comes to you keeping travel hopes and dreams alive and well through the travel connections of travel advisors, travel suppliers, and you, the travel dreamer. I'm Shannon Cunningham, your host of Travel Connections Live. We are here today coming to you from my kitchen, and I am so excited to be here today. Travel Connections Live is in season 2 because last year was so overwhelmingly welcomed and exciting. And today, for St. Patrick's Day, I have with me 2 very special guests that we are going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, we're going to celebrate Ireland, and we're going to celebrate the love of food, because food brings us together when we travel, right? So I have with me Miss Alex Raymaker of Red Carnation Hotels. Red Carnation Hotels is the owner of Ashford Castle. And I also have with me from Ashford Castle, directly, live and in person, Executive Chef Philippe Farino. Let me bring them on camera. Hello, Alex.
Hello. That's the first time you've called me Raymakers. That's actually no longer my surname.
And hello, Chef.
Hello, Shannon. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for being with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
On Earth, should I say.
So let us know where you're watching from. I'm in Louisiana. Alex, where are you?
So I'm here in London, England, in gloomy, rainy London at the moment, but you know.
Yep. And Chef, you're in the castle, right?
Us, we are in a castle, and I have to say outside is blue sky. So sorry for that, Alex.
Hey, show off a little bit more.
Well, I want to say ditch to you both. I had some Irish lessons earlier.
I love that. I'm very impressed.
Oh, good. I'm impressed myself. You should see how I wrote it to sound it out. My Southern slang in there.
Oh, I love your Southern accent. With a little bit of Gaelic. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
One of the things I always hear about Ashford Castle is how people feel right at home. Like they don't want to leave. And even though it's this 5-star luxury resort, they just absolutely love the way it makes them feel, the service, the food, the ambiance. And how do you pull that off, Alex?
Well, I think it really goes back to my grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Tolman. You know, obviously the castle in and of itself is spectacular. It's over 800 years old, was once home to the Guinness family as well, and is now home to obviously the Tolman family, and all of its guests. But I think, you know, it's really down to them and their passion for beauty, and, you know, they've always wanted to create places where people feel like it's their home away from home. And I think that's something that makes Red Carnation Hotels, part of the Travel Corporation family of brands, so unique. You know, each property that we have, which is going to be 20 now, with 2 new openings, one in Dublin, Hatch Hall, and one in Edinburgh, 100 Princess Street. Like Ashford Castle, they all have a story to tell, just like we each have our own story to tell. And what better way to tell your story than through food? Isn't that right, Philippe?
Exactly. It's especially being in Ireland. You know, it's such a lovely history coming from Ireland with all the fantastic organic product or organically grown product we have. And I think that is very, very special, you know.
And absolutely, and you know, so much of your the food that you have or use, Philippe, is very much grown on Ashford Estate. You know, one of the things that Red Carnation and the Travel Corporation is so passionate about is sustainable travel and sustainable tourism. So each one of our beautiful properties within Red Carnation has their own sustainable project. So I know that at Ashford, they've got their garden, they've got their bees. And then they also work with local craftsmen as well. So, you know, from local bakers to, you know, our Gilly, which is he's third generation Gilly, and he looks after Loch Corrib, which is our huge lake. It's one of the biggest freshwater lakes in Ireland, but it actually connects out onto the ocean for the Wild Atlantic Way. So we have our own salmon, and you know, if you catch a salmon, if you're lucky, I was never successful. You know, you can actually have Chef Philippe actually cook it for you or your clients for dinner, and you know, that's something that is such a unique experience in and of itself to Ashford Castle.
Oh, that's great. Well, Chef, I'm ready to start cooking because I can already smell the aroma. And I know,
It smells delicious.
yes, this Irish stew is going to be amazing. So why don't you walk us through what we need to do here?
Perfect. Listen, so as we say here, we probably in Ireland, we probably have one of the most beautiful lamb you will eat around the world, definitely. And this lamb is a little bit special because what we call it is sea spray. In the sense, the lamb is raised near the sea, so he's eating a lot of seagrass, which is beautiful for its flavor. And I think that is very, very important for the lamb. So the part of the lamb we're going to use for the Irish stew is the shoulder or the neck. Okay, it will be the two best parts for the Irish stew to make because they have a strong flavor. On an Irish stew, it's very, very easy to make. The thing we're going to do, and I'm going to show you the lovely piece of meat we have from my supplier, which is very close to Ashford Castle, and I hope you can see how beautiful the meat is.
Yes.
And we're going to put it in a cold water.
Okay. And about how much?
So only put the meat in a cold water, and when that is done, we're going to bring to boil the water. And by doing that, we are going to take off and remove all the impurity who's going to come on the top of the stock. And that is very, very important, is to be able to remove all the impurity. An Irish stew is a white stock. It's made from it's not a brown stock. We are not going to seal the meat. It's a white stock. It's a white stew. So the stew is only cooked in a water, or if you have some lovely lamb stock.
And why is that, Chef?
Sorry?
Why is that? Why don't you sear that meat? What is the difference?
So because traditionally, I suppose, traditionally in Ireland, the difference is people were probably using what they have around at the time. Is a very, very old dish. Unfortunately, I suppose in 15th century, when the black sheep arrived in Ireland, you know, people didn't have too much money maybe to make a stock like we do now, the brown stock, and it was probably easier at the time to put your meat in the water, boil it with your veg, and you have your simple stew. But now the Irish stew is probably one of the most famous stew we have around the world, and it's so tasty, very, very tasty. This is the way I'm going to do it now with you.
I can smell it from here.
I'm delighted. So we're going to bring to boil the lamb, which is very, very important. And when the water is going to start to boil, we're going to take a ladle and we're going to skim all the impurity. And the vegetables we're going to add traditionally is carrot, leek, onions, and garlic. Okay?
No potatoes.
And after that, in Ireland, every family will have this little intake on a recipe. So, for instance, some people will put some lovely parsnips. Some people will put some celery. So that is the difference of the intake in each family. And obviously, something we can't forget in Ireland, the most important thing is potatoes. We need to add a lot of potatoes.
I was just about to ask, when you didn't actually mention potatoes as part of the recipe, I was like, wait, you can't have a stew without potatoes.
No, it doesn't happen, isn't it? So for the potatoes, you have two types of potatoes you are able to use, and it's going to give you two different types of stew. What I mean by that, if you decide to use the floury potatoes, the potatoes are going to cook longer in your stock, and it will be very mushy. Okay, but if you don't like this kind of texture, you can use the waxy potatoes, and the waxy potatoes will give you a little bit more of a crunchiness, if you know what I mean. They will stay together, they won't come mushy. So what I recommend is to do half-half recipe. So for 1 kg of meat, you use 500 grams of potatoes, and you do half of floury and half of waxy. And it gives you two kind of a texture in your stew, which is absolutely beautiful.
Sounds divine. Shannon,
So
I
I
think
don't know if you're able to, can you see my stew?
Yep.
And we're going to, as you see, I remove all the impurity of it. Very, very important. And that is the key to make a nice stew. Because sometimes people making the mistake to boil the meat and to rinse it. But by doing that, you're going to, unfortunately, to throw away all the beautiful stock already with the flavor of the lamb. You don't want to do that. You want to keep the flavor of it. So to do that is very, very important. And it's very simple. It takes a few minutes, as you can see. It's very, very simple. And you have all the impurities. That's it. You know. And that's it. So if you do, make sure when you speak to your butcher, I suppose the lamb is nice to have a dice of about 2 centimeters. Don't do too big, because after to eat in a stew is not very nice. It's not very easy. It's nice to be able to enjoy your meat without cutting, because a stew, you should be able to have your fork or your spoon and to dig in and to enjoy that beautiful flavor, isn't it? So that's it. We take off everything.
I've got my spoon ready.
And I saw, Alex, you enjoy already. I can smell the aroma of the wine as well, you know.
Oh yeah, right. You know, I'm here. I'm glad.
I'm jealous now. That is not fair, guys. I tell you. So I take off all that. And the first vegetables we're going to add are the carrots. Okay. Some of the potatoes.
And now, Chef, have you done a mixture of potatoes?
I did on this one only the lovely floury.
Okay.
And here I have my onions. And
Now, do you
I'm
use
going to
white
add some
onions or
barley.
purple onions?
And I'm going to add some barley as well, okay?
Chef, what kind of onions do you use in your
white onions is fine.
Gotcha.
White onions is perfect. Now you're going to leave to cook for about 90 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. And after this 90 minutes is only on that time, and that is very important, you're going to add the leek and the celery. And why to do that? Because if you add it too early, your leek and your celery will have a brown color, and it's not very nice to look at. And it's like everything, we eat with our eyes. I think we are all the same. You know, when we see a beautiful dish arriving in front of us with all this beautiful color, it's nice to enjoy and with our eyes. So we only add the celery and the leek 10 to 15 minutes before to finish to cook. And when that is done, you have only one thing to do. Glass of wine, brown bread, and enjoy your lunch or your dinner. If you say, oh, especially you're pas this day, I would say.
I'm ready. Shannon, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Shannon.
Is it your microphone? You're very fancy.
Now?
But
No, yes.
I don't know
That's
why
it.
it kept muting. I'm not even touching it. Not touching it. Standing away from it. So yes, it looks delicious. And so red wine. You recommend red wine with it?
If you have a red wine, you can. I will recommend a light red wine because you don't want to kill the flavor of the lamb on the stew.
So, for example, like Bouchard Finlanson's Pinot Noir Galpin Peak.
Beautiful.
Parfait.
Beautiful. That is absolutely perfect. Yes, Alex, I will take a bottle of that as well.
I've got mine too, through the magic of TV. Here's mine all made.
Wow, that looks amazing.
So good. It smells so good. I'm going to serve up a bowl.
Listen, I have mine also with all my beautiful veg.
Yes.
And what you need to add at the end is some soft parsley.
Yes, I have parsley. Let me get my spoon.
I'm very happy we didn't say coriander because I can't stand coriander personally.
So yeah, I'll add some fresh parsley on top.
And you know, one of the most amazing things that I think makes, you know, Ashford Castle as well as the rest of our beautiful Red Carnation hotels so unique is our passion for food. You know, my grandmother started with my grandfather at the Nugget Hotel in the kitchen. You know, she's at the markets at 3 a.m. getting the best food, you know, and, you know, creating everything from, they actually were, my grandfather and my grandmother actually came up with the first over soul serve, the way it is, in Johannesburg. They'd never heard of it before. And so that was a recipe that obviously each one of our hotels at, for example, Ashford Castle also does today. So it's quite amazing how, you know, so many different people, so many different places, so many different characters. The thing that really unites us and bonds us as family is food.
Yes, exactly. Food connects people in so many ways. And like I saw the recipe and being in Louisiana, I was like, oh, there's not really much seasoning in this. I mean, we season everything just about. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to follow the recipe. I'm going to, and I'm ready to taste it to see.
Very good.
See what it tastes like. It smells very flavorful.
Yeah, and you notice all about the quality of your ingredients, you know. As people, exactly like the wine, if you have the right ingredients, you're going to enjoy everything.
Absolutely. And just as a little present to everyone who's joined us today with for this evening, our time, and you are absolutely nice. Is going to handwrite. Make sure it's legible, Philippe. His personal recipe for his stew that we've just cooked tonight, and I will be sending it on with Shannon to you guys as a little gift. So that you can bring your Irish stew from Philippe and Ashford Castle into your own home and share it with your own family.
That's awesome. And this recipe is very tasteful and very flavorful. I can't wait to serve it to my husband tonight, who he claims he claims himself as a chef, but he's not a working chef. It's a habit. It's a very good habit. And so when I get in the kitchen and cook, I try to impress him. So this stew is very good, very delicious. I can see why people love the food at the resort and the estate. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we're excited to get the recipe. And yeah, Julia, you can make it this weekend. You too, Ellen.
You can make it anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
It's an easy way. It's very quick, as we saw. It takes an hour, 45 minutes to have that ready. And it's such a beautiful, you know, it's very comfort food as well, you know, it's what is lovely.
I think the thing that was the hardest and took the longest was chopping the vegetables.
Yes, indeed.
You gotta have your minions, you know, the yellow things that can like chop the vegetables for you.
Yes, we need minions. Yep. So we got lots of people saying they can't wait for the recipe. They're excited about the recipe. They're going to try it at home. So wonderful.
And guys, you know, if you when you make Philippe's Irish stew, please take pictures and post it on Instagram. Make sure you tag Shannon and I, Philippe.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Ashford Castle.
100%.
Great.
Yeah, and Philippe, you do a cooking show, right?
I do one every Monday on Instagram, and I do one every Thursday on Facebook. So the Instagram is alive with one of our suppliers, which is very, very important to me because we're able to speak about the food we find in Ashford, and that's like is very, very important. And I say Alex later is early on is all about the people who are supplying us with a beautiful product here, which is very, very important. So we are doing a kind of a duo on Monday at 6 o'clock GMT. I am tomorrow night on Wednesday, on Thursday, sorry, is like tonight, cooking a dish or what I find on the organic market. And that's
fantastic. Well, Philippe, if you email me those details, I'll share them with Shannon.
Yeah, we'll share them.
No, very good. Thank you very much.
Philippe, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We'll let you go, but Alex
He's actually on QVC tonight as well. So we've got QVC on the cooking channel. Ashford Castle's being featured. So, you know, guys. Oh, yeah.
Ashford Castle on QVC.
Fantastic.
Awesome. But, yeah. Alex, you have some more information for us. You have 10 reasons to visit Ashford. Oh, Philippe, Slan.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. So you have, we're going to talk more Ashford Castle. We're not leaving yet. We have more Travel Connections Live. So tell us more about this amazing place.
Well, you know, Ashford Castle is a very special, and each one of the recreation hotels are incredibly special to my family because each one of them has memories. My family's been there, whether they were children or you know, my grandparents took them, or my grandparents had personal experiences at the properties. But you know, not because I know obviously time is precious, and I don't want to take you away from your lunch or dinner.
You go ahead. I'm going to munch. We've got some time, so tell us.
I really just wanted to kind of just tell you really my personal 10 reasons to love Ashford Castle. Obviously, that you can find out more details on our website, recommendation.com, where you can find Ashford Castle as well. And we actually have an amazing video about the restoration of the property, which was a 4-year project. And it's incredible when you see the state that it was in to what my family and my mother, who's the head of interior design with my grandmother, Beatrice Coleman, and our project manager, Brian Bennett, what they did. And then what's incredible, and I suppose this goes down to the heritage of the property itself and what we believe in with regards to property history is, you know, we only worked with local craftsmen. You know, so for us, it was really, really important and vital that the men and women who helped us put Ashford Castle back into her grandeur were locals. Because, you know, if you're coming in like a big kahuna, I'm not saying we are, but, you know, these things do happen. You know, it can really bend people out of shape because you're acting like you know everything when you don't. And the best people who do know about everything are the locals.
Right.
And what's amazing, I think, really about Ashford Castle and my family and Red Carnation and all of our brands is our desire to create our extension of the family. So, you know, to bring the people in and to, whether they're locals, they're out of towners, whoever it is, so that they feel complete and they feel part of it. Because, for example, Ashford Castle was built in 1218, I believe, 800 years old.
Wow.
You know, when the Irish stew was introduced in the 15th century, like Philippe said, we were there.
Right.
I know, I look really good for 800 years, right?
You do. Not one wrinkle.
Ashford tea really suits me, I think, you know, it takes away from the wrinkles. But, you know, preserving history and preserving tradition is one of the 10 reasons, you know, I love and we love Ashford Castle. One of the other things I would like to mention as well is that Ashford Castle was voted the best for best and was recently awarded its 5th star by Forbes. So that's quite extraordinary. It's also home to the very first school of falconry. on a 350-acre estate. We have now over 40 different activities from learning, which I did. I don't actually own one pair of trainers, and usually you'll only ever see me in stilettos. But I'm the tallest tree in Ireland. Almost got to the top, but then got hit. We've got archery, and actually we have a blind Olympic archer who trains at our archery field.
Oh, a blind?
Yep, he's a Paralympic. He's from Ireland, and he actually trains on our archery field.
Wow, that's amazing.
But one of my favorite stories as well, though, is the fact that it's also where The Quiet Man was filmed with Maureen O'Hare and John Wayne. And so you have The Quiet Man Club, and we have a beautiful cinema in-house where we show The Quiet Man daily. You can never get enough of Maureen O'Hare. I mean, come on.
Right.
But we also did in a 10-minute walk from the castle, which you can do at leisure. It's fabulous to get involved with the village. Is we go to the Quiet Man Club and enjoy a pint of Guinness. Because that's where John Wayne and Maureen O'Hare went for their Guinness.
Right.
Part of that living tradition, that living history.
Oh, that's incredible.
So those are just, I mean, I'm not going to go through all 10, but, these are just some of the things that I'm personally really passionate about, and some of the unique aspects of culture, but also hotels. Everything is thoughtful. Everything is it's a care. My grandmother calls them tiny noticeable touches, so TNTs. And as the account director for Gifted Travel Network, as Alex Tolman, not Rainmakers, please feel free to email me with your needs, your requests, or your questions. You can Instagram me, Facebook me, text me, WhatsApp me, phone me, email me.
There's so many ways to get in touch, right?
So, if you don't have my details, just let Shannon know and we'll share them. But, it's been so wonderful just to have this time with you guys. And Shannon, thank you so much for inviting Philippe and I onto the show. I mean, what an extraordinary experience for us as well to share, part of our love of food, which is very much an integral part of what makes Red Carnation.
Yes, thank you for sharing it with us, for arranging to have the chef coming directly to us from the castle. I mean, the next best thing would have been if you and I were in the castle together in the kitchen, right? In real life. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen.
I heard something like November 2021.
What's that?
I heard something on the grapevine about like November 2021.
My calendar is clear. And the bags are always packed, right?
Go bag, always.
Exactly. I always have a bag packed with my toiletries. So if somebody says, "Are you ready?" It's right next to the passport. And that's the thing. Ireland is opening up. The world is starting to open up. We have suppliers like you that are ready and willing and so just ready to greet tourists.
We are here with arms wide open.
I don't know who's ready more, the travelers or the people who are in the travel industry that serve the travelers. I don't know who's ready more, who's missed it the most.
It's a combination of both, I mean, we're such a united family in that sense. You know what I mean? Between, us hoteliers, your amazing advisors and your incredible clients. I think, I think we're all three of us are kind of on that same level of, okay, yeah. Can we go yet?
Right. Julia has a question. She wants to know, is Ireland opening up similarly to the UK? Do you know?
I do not know that 100%. I think there's still, Ireland is operating very differently to the UK, but I can certainly touch base with Paula Carroll, who is the DOS at Ashford, and just double check things with her. I mean, at the moment, our hotels in London or in the UK are supposed to open up in May, But I just take things a day at a time because things seem to change.
Yeah.
So
So quickly. So it will be open eventually, and we, the suppliers, the advisors, are going to be ready to send the travel dreamers to places like Ashford Castle and beyond. So thank you, Alex, so much for being here with Travel Connections Live. It's been fun. It's been real. We're definitely going to do it again. Thank you, viewers, for watching and being with Travel Connections Live. And until next time, keep the dream and hopes of travel alive.
And keep sustainable tourism moving.
That's right. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
Bye.